Turning to stand in the open doorway, I swept my eyes over the entry hall and spruce beam archway that led to the library. Rooms that felt unfamiliar even though I'd been in them countless times. Dad had been gone for 6 months. Enough time for a coating of dust to have settled over the tables and lamps. Dahlia unceremoniously tossed me the ring of house keys. I narrowly caught them, stumbling forward as though waking from a dream. "I thought I'd take the primary bedroom," I said, "for the view." She made that deep-throat grunt again. "Suit yourself." Dahlia Whitney hadn't liked my father, and the feeling had been mutual. Somehow the two of them had rattled around the old house together for years, despite his paranoia that she was trying to kill him, and her determination that he should accept Christ. If he had to have a caregiver, he protested, why couldn't it be someone who didn't resemble a lumpfish in an apron? For her part, Dahlia Whitney did her duties, cashed my father's checks, and only had one condition of employment. She would never sleep a single night under Malice House's roof. I let out a long breath as I took in all the work ahead of me. After my father's death, I'd hired a Seattle cleaning company to drive the 2 hours north to Lundy Bay and do the initial purge. Strip the bed sheets, donate his clothes to charity, rid the house of anything perishable, wash and put away the small army of coffee cups he left on every surface. Since then, though, the house had remained untouched. Every shelf burst not only with books, but yellowing paperwork. Mugs the cleaners had overlooked, a half-dozen long-dead houseplants. If they sought resurrection at my hand, they were out of luck. An end table in the sitting room held a battered old typewriter and several picture frames that had been turned face down, as though to protect them from dust. Curious, I stood the frames up one by one. The first held a picture of Dad accepting a literary prize. They'd all blended together after a while. There was my parents' wedding photo from their elopement, the same one I had framed back in New York. The last one was a photograph of a small group of people holding teapots in mock seriousness. I only recognized my father and the bookstore owner in town, whose name I couldn't recall. None of the photographs were of me. Grumpy, but not altogether surprised, I turned the wedding photo face down again. "Electricity and water are still on." Dahlia switched on a lamp. "And the landline. There's a phone in the kitchen and another in the upstairs hallway. The utility company cuts off service whenever a deed transfers hands, but since no one's taken up residence since your father died, they let the account sit." "What about internet?" She grunted. "Your father never had it. You'll have to sign up with Comtech. There's an office down on Boardwalk Street." I mentally added signing up for internet to my to-do list. My old phone was useless now since it was on Baker's plan. I'd picked up a cheap pay-as-you-go flip phone in LaGuardia, but it was talk and text only. In the meantime, one of the coffee shops in town would have Wi-Fi. Lundy Bay may have had a reputation as a sleepy seaside village, but being only 2 hours from Seattle, it drew the kind of tech investor second homers who required constant connectivity, even on vacation. I followed Dahlia Whitney on a shuffling tour of the house as she pointed out a vent in need of repair, a box of long unanswered mail, which burner on the stovetop worked and which didn't, how to jiggle the back door open when it got stuck. We wandered past my father's bar cart in the library, Scotch decanters long empty, resting next to the engraved copper Pulitzer Prize medal, the surprisingly small kitchen, the overly formal, never-used living room, the creaky stairs to the bedrooms on the second floor, the sleeping porch off the primary bedroom with the sea view and molding wicker furniture. I'd have to do something with all of it. The musty rugs, the drawers full of old files, the towels and linens, and the books, books, books. They watched from every corner of every room.